Warm words from the Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by congratulating President-elect Trump on his historic election victory?
Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice, right? But I actually think he's very nice. I think he ran a great race. He did very well.
Then came the cold reality check from his new opponent about the difficulties of dealing with Donald Trump.
Did you catch Trump's latest bombshell? He just dropped a nuclear-level announcement that's left Keir Starmer scrambling for cover.
The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary met him in September. Did the Foreign Secretary take that opportunity to apologise for making derogatory and scatological references, including, and I quote, Trump is not only a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath,
Discussed a number of issues of global significance.
Regardless of what's said in public, officials here and in most NATO capitals across Europe are bracing themselves.
He is also a profound threat to the international order.
The Foreign Secretary and I did meet President-elect Trump just a few weeks ago for dinner for about a couple of hours, and
The Labour leader's past has come back to haunt him in a big way. Remember all those times Starmer and his team took potshots at Trump? Well, it looks like the former president hasn't forgotten. He's just unveiled a plan that could turn Starmer's political future upside down. You won't believe what's at stake for UK-US relations. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
For another 4 years of Donald Trump, rather than celebrating his return, many expect there to be renewed tensions with Washington and much greater unpredictability, but without explaining how. With Vladimir Putin looming large, Ukraine's leader needs Donald Trump on his side when it comes to tackling global threats. First among them is Russia's war in Ukraine. The president-elect has vowed to end the conflict.
Donald Trump's potential return to power isn't just a headache for Washington, it's a ticking time bomb for Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. The past few years have seen Labour figures unleash a barrage of insults against Trump, and now those words are coming back to haunt them. Let's rewind and revisit some of Labour's most biting comments. These weren't just casual jabs or political disagreements. We're talking about serious accusations that cross diplomatic lines. Starmer himself has called Trump a racist on multiple occasions, while other Labour MPs have gone even further, labelling him a neo-Nazi sympathiser. But perhaps the most colourful insult came from David Lammy, now serving as Foreign Secretary. Lammy didn't mince words when he dubbed Trump a tyrant in a toupee. It's a catchy soundbite, sure, but how's that going to play out if Lammy finds himself across the negotiating table from Trump? Political analysts are sounding alarm bells. They warn that these comments could severely damage UK-US relations if Trump secures a second term. It's not just about hurt feelings or bruised egos. These insults could have real, lasting impacts on trade deals, security cooperation, and diplomatic ties between two long-standing allies. The stakes are rising by the day. Trump is known for his long memory when it comes to perceived slights. He's shown time and again that he's not afraid to hold grudges or retaliate against those who've criticised him. And now, with a potential return to the White House on the horizon, he might soon have the power to act on those grudges.
He'll surely be hoping for ever greater US support, maybe even a green light for Israel to bomb Iranian nuclear sites. Then there is the world's other escalating crisis between Israel and Iran. The Israeli Prime Minister among the first to call Trump to congratulate him.
Labour's past trash talk isn't just embarrassing, it's a potential diplomatic disaster waiting to happen. If Trump wins in November, Starmer and his team will need to perform some serious damage control. They'll have to find a way to walk back years of insults and rebuild bridges with a notoriously temperamental leader. But Trump's reaction isn't the only thing Starmer needs to worry about. The Labour leader's problems run deeper than just a war of words with the former president. Forget the war of words. Starmer's real problem with Trump stems from a decision about a tiny island group you've probably never heard of. How could the fate of the Chagos Islands potentially sabotage UK-US relations and hand China a major strategic victory?
He had a great election, too. He picked up a lot of seats, more seats than he was allowed to have, actually. They acknowledge that he won, but for some reason you have a very strange system over there.
Voting Keir Starmer, the UK Premier.
Yes, he's coming tonight.
What do you think of him? Some of his colleagues in government are quite critical of you.
Well, it's very early, but he's popular, and I'll be seeing him, and I'll send you regards. Who are you with? Who are you with?
GB News in the UK.
Okay, good.
But would you rather Nigel Farage would have had a bigger role?
Well, I think Nigel is great. I mean, I've known him for a long time.
While Labour was busy trading insults with Trump, they were simultaneously making a move that could prove far more damaging to UK-US relations. The UK government, under Starmer's leadership, struck a deal to return the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. This might sound like a minor territorial dispute, but it's anything but. The deal includes the handover of Diego Garcia, a military base that's been described by a senior Trump advisor as the most important island on the planet for US military strategy.
One thing's clear: America's allies and its enemies are about to encounter a very different White House.
This wasn't just some hasty decision. Republican officials warned of serious consequences if the UK went through with the deal, but Labour pushed ahead anyway, seemingly more concerned with scoring points with the outgoing Biden administration than considering the long-term implications for UK-US relations. So why is Diego Garcia such a big deal? Military experts emphasise its critical role as a vital hub for US operations in the Indian Ocean region. It's not just another base, it's a linchpin in America's global military strategy. The island provides crucial support for various missions, a fact that becomes even more significant given the rising tensions with China in the area. And here's where things get even more complicated. Mauritius, the country set to gain control of the Chagos Islands, has been developing close ties with China. This raises alarm bells about potential Chinese influence in a region that's strategically vital to US interests. It's not hard to see why a future Trump administration might view this deal as a betrayal of US interests and a potential threat to their military capability. Starmer's government might have thought they were making a smart diplomatic move, currying favour with Biden's team on their way out, but in doing so they've potentially set themselves up for a major clash with a returning Trump administration. The consequences of this decision are about to become very real, and they could have far-reaching implications for the future of UK-US relations. As the US election looms closer, Starmer finds himself in an increasingly precarious position. Not only does he have to worry about Trump's reaction to past insults, but he now faces the prospect of defending a decision that could be seen as directly undermining US military interests. It's a perfect storm of diplomatic challenges, and one that could define Starmer's tenure as Labour leader. Keir Starmer's Labour Party finds itself in a diplomatic minefield of its own creation. The combination of personal attacks on Trump and the controversial Diego Garcia decision has set the stage for a potential crisis in UK-US relations. As Trump inches closer to a possible return to power, Starmer's team faces an uphill battle to salvage their credibility on the international stage. The coming months will put Labour's diplomatic prowess to the ultimate test. Can they find a way to mend fences with the notoriously unforgiving Trump administration? Will they be able to justify their decision on Diego Garcia in light of growing concerns about Chinese influence in the region? These questions loom large as the US election approaches. For British voters and political observers alike, the unfolding drama between Starmer and Trump promises to be a critical subplot in the larger narrative of global politics. The fate of the special relationship between the UK and US hangs in the balance, with potential repercussions for trade, security and diplomatic cooperation. As events unfold, all eyes will be on Starmer to see if he can navigate these treacherous waters, or if his past decisions will sink Labour's credibility on the world stage.